Hi, listeners. It's Becca and Brooke with the College Admissions Insider podcast. We're here to remind you of Bucknell's application deadlines for this year.
For incoming first-year students, our Early Decision 1 deadline is November 1st. And for Early Decision 2 and Regular Decision applicants, our deadline is January 10th. We can't wait to meet you through your application. Websites, brochures, and social media can only tell you so much about what a college is like.
While visiting in person is an excellent way to get a feel for campus life, there are even more immersive opportunities. I'm Becca Hauptaldridge from Bucknell University, and today on College Admissions Insider, we're diving into pre-college programs.
I'm Brooke Thames, also from Bucknell. And in this episode, we'll learn what pre-college programs offer prospective students, what the experience looks like at Bucknell, and how it can help you decide where you'd like to attend.
We have two guests joining us. Carrine Phillips is Senior Assistant Director of Admissions at Bucknell, and Elena Mohan is a member of Bucknell's class of 2027 with personal experience in pre-college programs. Welcome to the podcast.
So let's jump in with some introductions. Carrine, we've had you on the podcast for our community engagement episode and to lend advice for 9th and 10th graders, but it's been a while. Can you refresh us on your role here at Bucknell?
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me. I am Carrine Phillips, a Senior Assistant Director of Admissions and proud Class of 19 alumna from Bucknell. Within the Office of Admissions, I oversee all of our large-scale events, so things like open houses, our admitted student days. I also help to oversee our Admissions Ambassador program with two other colleagues, and I currently direct the Bucknell Academy Summer Experience program.
How about you, Elena? Can you tell us where you're from, what you're studying, and a little bit more about why you chose Bucknell?
Yeah, thank you also for having me. I am currently a sophomore from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I'm planning on majoring in education with a minor in food systems. Why I chose Bucknell, I've always had a long list of family members that attended Bucknell, so I've always been told stories and been interested. But besides that, Bucknell has been a great distance from home and a great size for me, and I feel like I always see someone on campus and in passing, which is super important for me. I also love the campus, and I love the small town feeling from Lewisburg, and I found that it's super easy to find my way around.
I'm so glad we have both of you here to give your different perspectives, both from the student side and the admission side. So let's start off by defining what pre-college programs actually are. Generally, what do they offer high school students and how common are they?
Sure. Pre-college programs are essentially opportunities for students in high school, perhaps even middle school, to attend a college campus, most often during the summertime, in order to get exposure to a variety of opportunities. Some college programs are rooted in niched areas like engineering or a communications or perhaps a marine science summer program where you're learning about marine science animals, etc. Other programs might be focused on providing academic credit to high school students. So perhaps you're looking for extra classes to take over the summertime on a college campus, getting a feel for that, but you're helping your curriculum in your high school to expand knowledge there. Other programs might be rooted in extracurricular pursuits. So most often there's sports summer camps, some are religious-based summer camps, others might be arts, whether it's visual or performing. I find that pre-college programs are fairly common. They could be found at your local community college, your private universities colleges, as well as your public universities colleges in your area. It just depends on when they're running during the summer. Some might be a week long, some might be a month long, in June or July or August, but fairly easy to get your hands on if you're interested in attending something like that.
That's a perfect overview of the landscape. Thanks, Carrine. And at Bucknell, we know we have a handful of pre-college programs for students, a variety of high school and even middle school levels. But one of the big ones for juniors and seniors, run out of our admissions office, is the Bucknell Academy Summer Experience, which we call BASE. Can you tell us about what that program's all about and what makes it similar or unique as far as pre-college programs go?
So BASE is a week-long pre-college program that provides high school students, rising juniors and seniors, with the opportunity to explore a liberal arts education. The goal of the program is to expose students to what a liberal arts education looks like. Truthfully, the value of understanding different perspectives as we think about a specific theme, which is what we try to root our program around, a theme every year. For example, last year's theme was based on the impact of media on society, and we had professors from a myriad of disciplines coming together to talk about that. This year, we're broadening our theme and our scope a little bit more to analyze the importance of communication as a whole, especially when it comes to understanding some really complex issues that are happening within and across society. We also add a unique flair in that we do provide some admissions tips and tricks throughout our camp in order to help our campers feel prepared as they continue or perhaps just begin their college search process, and even those that are on the tail end as they're thinking about applying if they're going into their senior year. Our program is a little unique from other pre-college programs in that it's not niched in an academic discipline, like I was talking about before with those engineering camps or those marine science camps. And it also does not provide an academic credit to students. It's a 5-day, week-long program. And again, some of those other ones might be 3 weeks, a month long. So we're a little different there. But I can assure you that it is very similar to programs in that you're living on a college campus, you're experiencing the dining and living in a residence hall here, you're getting that taste of college life with your high school peers. And we do include fun evening activities, so you have that peer mentorship, that peer bonding that you would also receive elsewhere. So a little different, but similar at the same time.
We have so many materials and resources, including episodes of this podcast, that try to dive into what a liberal arts education is. But Carrine, it sounds like this opportunity with BASE is a great experience for students to really immerse themselves in what that is and really get a taste for it and live it out a little bit so they can decide if that's what they like. Elena, you attended BASE as a high school student. I'm curious how you found out about that opportunity and what made you want to participate.
Yeah, so from the beginning of my college process, I knew that I was interested in Bucknell, and I'm pretty sure that my mom and I found it on the Bucknell website, and it was just right up my alley. The topic my year was focused on the Anthropocene, and I originally thought that I was going to go into Bucknell with an environmental studies major, and I was super into sustainability, so this was something that I was super passionate about, and that while it was at Bucknell, it just made it 10 times better. This was a perfect opportunity for me to build my application and my Common App. I like that it also gave me a chance to live on campus and take classes in real college classrooms, and the ability to interact with the college professors was also huge for me.
It sounds like in some ways, Elena, you knew what you were looking for, but also were open to having new experiences once you found the right program. And a program like this, at least at Bucknell, is somewhat selective. Just like our university admissions process, there's an application that students must submit to be considered for BASE. What should students know about applying to a pre-college program like this? And are there tips for creating a strong application?
We review BASE applications similarly to how we read applications here at Bucknell. It is a committee-based evaluation, so there are multiple people reading each application that comes through. Our application is online, and truthfully, will most likely take you a couple of minutes to complete the questions that we have there for you. There are short essay questions to answer, about 250 words maximum per question, and we do require a recent high school transcript, so showing your most recent grades in the curriculum you're currently taking at the moment, in order for us to evaluate your grades and rigor throughout your high school years you've had so far. I always encourage students to truthfully take a lot of time in preparing your short answer essay questions. We want you to be authentic in your writing. I want to know what you think, rather than you trying to write the most perfect answer that you think I want to hear. I want to know your authentic voice. What are your opinions? What do you think in those responses? We highly discourage you to use AI to write the responses for you. So take a little bit of time, review the questions prior, perhaps write it in a Word document or a Google Doc, whatever your preferred platform is, and then copy and paste your answers in once you feel strong about how you've written that response.
I want to hear more from Elena about her experience in the program as a student. But before we get there, I don't want to gloss over cost. Given that students stay on campus and it's that immersive residential experience, are there boarding and dining fees? And what if a student is a stellar applicant, but cost might be a challenge?
That's a great question, Brooke. And absolutely, since we are being hosted on Bucknell's campus, there are boarding and dining fees that we do therefore have a cost of the program for our students and families. However, we never want the cost of a program to be a hindrance to that student or to their family. We do offer a select number of scholarships for students, truthfully, either a half scholarship covering half the cost of the program or a full scholarship covering the total amount to the students in need. In order to be considered for a scholarship, we do ask that the student have their school counselor, so their high school counselor, or their CBO counselor, submit a letter to us sharing that student or that student's family's financial need. The more information that can be shared with the student and family's permission, the more helpful that is for our team as we evaluate the request and then determine the amount of scholarships we would like to award that year. I would also like to share that sometimes the aspect of traveling to campus makes a student nervous or makes a family nervous, especially as they think about how to get from airport to Bucknell's location in Lewisburg. Please know that we do provide complimentary transportation to and from 3 major airports, BWI, Newark, and Harrisburg, in order for our campers who might be traveling from a far distance to get to our program, attend, and then get back home. So that is a way that we are providing access to and from campus without families having to worry about the cost of that.
So, Elena, we want to hear more about your experience as a firsthand student participating in BASE, starting with the academic side of things. What did it feel like to be in a real college classroom with a real professor and learning like a Bucknell student would?
Yeah, so my BASE year, I took an infectious diseases class and another class about sustainability. And the infectious diseases class was super interesting because we, in the classroom and in a lab, which gave me a good feel for switching it up for most science classes and lab requirements at Bucknell. And then my sustainability course was in a more lecture-based classroom. And this gave me a good feel for how to take notes and balance how to ask questions with a professor. And I think moving from building to building between classes also gave me a lot of insight into what freshman year would look like and how I quickly got a grasp of campus and managed my way around. And I think this experience really made me feel at home. And it also taught me that just because I was nervous maybe at first in the classroom or meeting these new professors, they were super warm and welcoming. And so I was able to open up more, which I think was also super important to see that it really wasn't that scary.
It's cool that you not only got that kind of sit-down interactive experience in the classroom, but got to go in the lab and get a sense for what it would be like to be a real researcher at Bucknell, since students here get to do that from their first year onward. But that real college experience didn't end with the classes or the lab. You got to live in a residence hall and spend a lot of time with the other BASE campers. What did you enjoy about going through the experience with other prospective students?
I loved making friends at BASE. I'm still in connection with a lot of them, and a bunch of them also ended up at Bucknell with me, so having that familiar face my freshman year was super important. And I also ended up working BASE last summer with 3 others that I did BASE before my senior year, so that was super fun to come back and kind of reminisce about our time at BASE. Overall, being able to live in the residence hall with 3 other people gave me a good sense about what living with other students and our schedules and our wake up times and shower times would be like. And so being able to learn how to share that space was really important. It was definitely also cool to be able to hang out in other rooms and sit in groups on the quad, which is now things that I do with my everyday friends at school at Bucknell. And definitely starting the college process was a super stressful time for everyone, I think. But I think being at BASE and being able to connect and talk about it with people with similar interests and people who are also looking at similar schools as you really helped and eased a lot of the nerves.
And so it sounds like both in and out of the classroom, it really was that pre-college experience that Carrine talked about creating and exposing high school students to. We know you were excited about Bucknell before you came to BASE, but Did BASE solidify your decision to apply or how you intended to apply?
Yeah, definitely. After BASE, I really couldn't picture myself anywhere else. And being able to live on campus, eat in the caf, and take classes in the Bucknell classrooms, I could really picture myself as a student at Bucknell. BASE was also a great addition to my admissions application and became a huge talking point with my admissions representative when they visited my high school. This just ultimately built relationships and conversations and made my name more memorable. And also, when applying to Bucknell, I felt like I could passionately answer a lot of the questions because I was easily able to put myself in the shoes of a Bucknell student, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a great point, Elena. And I actually got the chance this past summer to chat with some BASE students alongside Becca. And like you, for many of them, having this immersive experience is a really important factor in their interest to apply. I wonder if that's just as true on the college side. We know that applying to and attending programs like this can count toward demonstrated interest, which is how a student signals they're interested in a particular school. Carrine, does it make a difference in the admissions process?
While it is not a defining factor in Bucknell's decision-making process, and I can't speak to all pre-college programs out there, I would largely wager that it can only help a student. It cannot hinder a student. Many colleges like to see students that have engaged with them, whether it's on-campus visits, open houses, seeing you at a college fair when we're in your area, or visiting your high school, and so on. When students are excited about us, we truthfully can't help but get excited about them too. For BASE specifically, I'm proud to say that the program has grown over the last 3 years in terms of just the number of participants who have attended each summer program. In turn, we've seen the number of BASE participants who apply to Bucknell increase as well. To share recent numbers, for our current admission cycle happening right now, recruiting the next class of 29, we had 20 early Decision 1 applicants from BASE campers, which is a new record for us as an office. So absolutely can help a student, to Elena's point, being able to perspective take and put yourselves in the shoes of a future student when you're thinking about those supplemental essay questions a college might ask you, or just thinking about how you would like to answer questions or talk to your admissions rep when they're at your high school. All of those things can only help you in the application process overall.
So far, Elena has shared some of her story as a BASE participant, but now as a Bucknell student, she's had the opportunity to become a student counselor for the program. Elena, what made you stick with BASE in that way? And what's it been like to be a counselor in the very same program that helped you solidify your decision to choose Bucknell?
It was definitely a very nostalgic experience coming back as a counselor for BASE. BASE for me was so fun and a really important experience for me in my college admissions process. So I really wanted to make it impactful for the other prospective students. The past summer, a lot of my friends were OAs, and I knew that I also wanted to do something special regarding Bucknell and new students. And that's when being a counselor kind of fell into my lap. During BASE, I had such a fun time giving tours of campus and showing where I like to study and hang out. And so it was super rewarding to make the campers as excited about Bucknell as I am. I love Bucknell's campus and the people at Bucknell, and I wanted to be able to share that with other possible students.
It's so cool to hear about how influential BASE has been in your college journey. And I think sharing your experience has really given our listeners insight into how interesting and also fun a program like this can be, as well as, Carrine, your expertise and your advice on how students can go about looking at these programs. So thank you both for joining us.
Thanks for having us, Brooke and Becca.
Thank you.
Today we got to hear Elena's story, and there are dozens of students that this program has also impacted. And we know that putting together this program is a huge lift on the admissions team, specifically under Carrine's leadership the past few years. So thank you, Carrine, to all you do to put on this amazing program, the impact it has on students and the impact it has on Bucknell overall. And thanks to everyone out there listening. If you're a fan of the podcast, please take a moment to rate, subscribe, and share this episode with the families in your life.
We'll be back with another episode in a few weeks. In the meantime, send your questions, comments, and episode ideas to podcast@bucknell.edu. We read every note you send.
And finally, you're invited to follow Bucknell on your favorite social media apps. Just look for @BucknellU on Instagram, Facebook, X, YouTube, and TikTok. You can also follow our student-run Instagram account, which is @IMRayBucknell.
Until next time, keep on reaching for your dreams and your dream school.